Welcome back to another episode of It's All Been Trekked Before. This one, it's the wrap-up. We go through season one, the highs, the lows, the middles, everything that we've talked about in the other 20 episodes crystallized in one little episode. It's me, Steven, with Jimmy-Jerome and Keith, breaking it down for you. Got some thoughts from Barbara. Give it a listen. Also, something else you want to check out. It's not even season. It's Stark Story Snacks. It's little bite-sized stories from Samantha Stark. Check it out. It's a micro story even. Micro story here at IABDpresents.com. Something else to check out while you're there. It's practically part of the mothership, but it isn't. It's Dirty Story Night. It's just as it's described. It's dirty. It's a story. It's at night. You can go back and listen to the archives. Listen to them all. Maybe one will appeal to you. Maybe 10 of them appeal to you. You can hear them all at IABDpresents.com. Probably not safe for work, though, unless you work at a place that isn't safe. But sit back and listen as we wrap it up and break it down and get you ready for Season 2 by wrapping up Season 1 on It's All Been Trekked Before.
Welcome out to It's All Been Trekked Before, the Season 1 recap episode. We have 4 people here today to talk about it. Go ahead.
This is Steven.
And Keith.
Jimmy-Jerome.
And Zoe.
Okay, 5 people here to talk about it. Although Zoe doesn't know words yet.
Yeah.
Colleen is here as well. She is back. So we are going to talk about Season 1 as a whole. And to do that, we're going to start with our favorite and least favorite episodes of the season. So let's talk about the least favorite.
Yeah.
Bottom 5. Interestingly, our 5th worst is in Barbara's top 5.
Really?
This Side of Paradise, we had as 5th worst. And she admitted that she had not rewatched it recently, but said that I said you should, and she said no amount of rewatching is going to change my mind. I have that Spock relationship stuck in my head, and that's what I adore about it.
Is that the one with the
spores?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And Spock's with the ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
Which is fair, because honestly, I thought I had better memories of it before going in.
I did too, and so I can see where she's coming from. And when I listened to her episode on it, it made me think of the way I kind of thought of it. But a lot of missed opportunities having watched it.
I stand by our decision to stick down the bottom 5.
I think so. And it's still at face value. I'm still surprised it's that low, but
yeah.
But when we talked about it, it made sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's right below What Are Little Girls Made Of, which to me, I was like, would that really be above This Side of Paradise? I guess so. I mean, This Side of Paradise was just such a mess. The plot, the ending, it made no sense. The spores not affecting Kirk. Yeah. And then him deciding to beam Spock up instead of somebody to help him manage things.
You know, and I know I liked the relationship more. I wanted more of the Spock.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Leilani?
Layla.
Relationship, and I think if that's the only thing you pull out of it, it is a great episode, but it was such a small part,
right?
Unfortunately, because Kirk had.
I have a special place for it, nostalgically, oddly, not even having seen the episode until we watched it, but because of the After Dark screensaver tie-in.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Which I found amusing, but other than that, I don't know.
Yeah.
I have a hard time ranking things. I'm sure I've mentioned this before, but just in general.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think everything has its bits where you can enjoy or find fault with it, but.
I think if we had pre-ranked the season, What Are Little Girls Made Of would have been in my bottom 5. This Side of Paradise would not have. And I think the other one that would have been in my bottom 5 before we watched it was Mary, which we've got 9 from the bottom, so middle.
Mary was just a little fighter.
But
just like Mary.
And our 4th from the bottom is another one I'm kind of surprised ended up here, but I think it should stay down here. Is Mud's Women.
Yeah.
I like Harry Mudd.
Yeah, that's the thing. And that's the same kind of thing. I always think of Mudd being so much fun, but then, watching it, it was just...
His other episode must be a lot better.
I think it is. It must
be. I don't remember, but it must be.
I mean, and Amanda didn't even have to work hard that episode to find the sexism and everything. I mean, it was really cringeworthy. It was just so weird, and it was so not future or forward looking. Other than the idea of not space pirates, but space con men. Yeah, I guess. But yeah, that was
Space Brides.
Yeah, I guess that's
Space Brides for Space Brothers or Space Brides for Space Miners, however you want to do it. But yeah, it was disappointing.
Space Mail Order Brides.
You touched on a couple of things I had to try to work through for a second. One of which is that I think one of my disconnects is that apart from whether or not the episode is actually of good quality, sometimes they just have significant characters or events or references that keep coming up that make you think of it as being something important, but not necessarily good. So you go back and watch it and say, wait, this is horrible.
Yeah.
But, the other thing is, I think one of the things that makes one of the episodes bad when we look back at it is when you realize that it really isn't futuristic, but it is them inserting very old-fashioned concepts and forcing it onto just like they were just adding the word space before things.
Right, yeah.
It's like the Jetsons or something, I don't know.
Works for comedy, not so much for drama.
Yes,
Right.
exactly, yeah.
But I don't think either of those episodes, The Side Paradise or Men's Women, are without the redeeming qualities. I think
No, yeah, I wouldn't.
they have issues, but I don't think they're... I mean, I would watch them again.
Hell would not be having to watch those over and over.
No.
I mean, they're
I mean, I think, personally, there were only 3 really bad episodes this season.
Are those the ones we're coming
And
in?
those are the 3 bottom. Charlie X, the alternative factor, and then the daddy of all bad ones, Tomorrow is Yesterday.
Yeah, and Tomorrow's Yesterday is one going in, I would have thought I liked a lot more. And even getting past my confusing it with Assignment Earth all the time, I thought I was going to like it a lot more, and I was surprised how much the inconsistencies and it was just a weird episode.
Just really bad.
Yeah.
Nothing made sense.
I mean-
it all was poorly constructed.
And even from we talked about, I think, Star Trek 4 when we watched that. Like, Star Trek 4 is how you execute that.
Yes.
It's funny.
It's the good version of it.
Yes, exactly. It's like, okay, we got this figured out.
Yeah.
But they had really good special effects when they were simulating the 60s and so forth. Like costuming and...
It looked like the 1960s.
It did, it
I mean,
did.
they really got the
It
costume
did.
stuff down.
It was spot on.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. What was it? Charlie X? Yeah. I'm kind of surprised Charlie X is slow, but I'm kind of not, and it was definitely early on, and...
Wasn't that something that Barbara really liked?
I think she didn't hate it. I don't think she loved it, but she didn't hate it.
Yeah.
She didn't. I don't think she would have put it in her bottom 5.
I was also, I mean, I remember at the time that I think I enjoyed it more than everyone else to some extent. I guess I found it funny enough.
Yeah.
The things that were bad enough that they were like circle back around to being entertaining.
And that was
some
probably another one
expressions.
I think I probably thought I would like better going in. Mm-hmm. And that's definitely nostalgic. That's definitely looking through it was one of the first episodes I remember watching with my brother and sister. And then watching it, a little cheesy and a little not as good. And the best thing I can remember is Janice Rand's casual wear.
Yeah. And that was in that string.
That was the first of her run.
She was sexually assaulted.
Yeah.
Was that the lingerie or something?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it was.
So we feel pretty comfortable leaving those as the bottom 5.
I think so.
Any rearrangement last minute?
Yeah, because like, what are little girls made of? I know we had our reservations, but there's still things about that I like.
Yeah, me too.
Including my guy who still has not died, and the bottomless.
Yes.
The bottomless.
But he just keeps falling and falling and falling.
Yes.
So that's our bottom. But like I said, of those, I think only 3 of them were truly, truly bad. Whereas I think we have more than 3 episodes that were truly, truly great.
Yeah.
If we start at the top, let's just look at the top 5 for now. Although I think at least the top 10 are all really great episodes. But top 5, we still need to decide 1 and 2. The Cage and City on the Edge of Forever. We'll come back to that in a minute. Number 3 is Aaron and Mercy. Number 4 is Where No Man Has Gone Before. And number 5 is A Taste of Armageddon. Which I think is probably still good ranking.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's followed by The Menagerie, Balance of Terror, Spacey, Devil in Dark, and Conscience of the King for the top 10.
Yeah, those are all great episodes.
Those are all excellent episodes.
Yeah.
Like, that is 10 solid episodes to 3 terrible episodes, in my opinion.
And I'm always surprised that Aaron and Mercy is up there just because the name sounds so bland, but it's a great episode.
It is. I mean, we only have it right. It's number 3 enough.
That's the Klingons.
Yeah.
So we actually got to see Klingons and
Yeah.
the early iteration of what they were like.
Yep.
So yeah, as I was saying before, hard for me to rank, but I can kind of deconstruct what makes them good or bad. I think the thing that all the ones up in the top 10 have in common is they're actually good sci-fi. They're actually creating immersive worlds and making some effort and trying to just take people out of what is actually their their current 1960s thinking. This is the way this world actually could be over here.
Except for,
right.
I think number 10, The Concept of the King, is not a science fiction.
All right.
That's right. We talked about that it was more of a
Western.
Yeah.
With the help of
that was the attorney?
That was the Shakespeare one. But the story was essentially a Western. Keith's right. 9 of the top 10 were heavily science fiction.
Yeah. They weren't just space.
And they had the bottom 3, I think, are the bottom 3 because they're so full of plot holes. It's ridiculous for the most part. But I'd also say those top 10 almost all have great character moments as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I feel like a lot of it's the ones right off the bat where they're throwing everything at you, and then a lot of them are the ones later as they start to develop those things. Like we talked a lot about with City on the Edge of Forever about if that's the 4th episode.
Yeah.
They don't, just from a production standpoint and as a viewer, you don't understand the subtleties, the nuances going on, and it makes it that much better.
Although, sake of argument,
yep.
The alternative factors are bottom 3, and it was number 26.
Yeah, well, there wasn't enough.
Out of 28, I think.
There was too much Lazarus in that episode, and not enough of the rest of the guys.
Yeah. Ugh. And Tomorrow's Yesterday came in the second half of the season as well. It did. So. The Cage and Where No Man's Gone Before, both in top 5.
Yes,
they were at the very beginning.
Like I said, I felt like both their pilots. I mean, like I said, I have a weak spot for Where's No Man Gone Before.
Other than the pilots, though, it wasn't until number 11 that something else cracked the top 10. So it was that middle of the season where it started to catch its stride.
Yeah, because we had a lot of the early on the Creature of the Week or Planet of the Disease of the Week, Planet of the Week kind of stuff.
In fact, if you look at the bottom 10. 6 of the bottom 10 are single-digit episodes from the first batch of. Yeah. So that makes sense that there were a lot of bad ones at the beginning and a lot of great ones middle and end.
It's funny how fascinated Zoe seems watching you talk and just so happy doing it.
She's excited to be on the Star Trek podcast. But she is 3 months old and 2 days.
It is almost as if she understood I said her name just
That's why Colleen's not speaking. She's fascinated with Zoe.
She also hasn't seen... How many episodes are this season?
28, I think.
So I haven't seen 26 of them.
I was't sure if you were referring yourself in the third person.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Zoe for a second.
That's what I thought. She said, well, she hasn't seen...
She being Colleen, I see.
No, I was talking about myself.
Yeah, and I think all of the top 10 have at least one memorable guest star as well. Or alien, or monster, or some other thing that's playing with the crew. Yeah.
Whether iconic or...
Whether it's a Horta, or Khan, or the Telosians, or Enid Keeler. I mean, they all have something else in there.
Yeah.
So, do we want to leave our ranking as is? We feel pretty good about it?
I think so, yeah.
I'm sure not the person to do it, as I've said on many occasions now.
Now we do have to decide. The Cage or Sitting on the Edge of Forever. What's 1, what's 2? Colleen is not weighed in. Do you remember these 2 episodes at all? Okay. Zoe has not weighed in.
Let the record shake, or let the record show that was a head shake just then.
Zoe, if you think The Cage should be number 1, say it. If you think Sitting on the Edge of Forever should be number 1, don't say anything. I guess she votes for the City on the Edge of Forever. Barbara also voted for the City on the Edge of Forever.
Oh, okay. All right. That's fair. She's a good tiebreaker.
As being the first one.
I'm
fine with her being like the tiebreaker as far as that.
Yeah, I know. You and Amanda. Well, you were the one that's here because Amanda's not here today.
I'm sure.
Argued for The Cage.
Really?
Yes. Well, last time we talked, you and Amanda were split.
I would say, I guess my reasoning for that would have been, as I said before, that they were actually doing something immersively science fiction. Although City on the Edge of Forever is actually, again, taking them back to a point where they could have easily, reconstruct the Earth as they already knew it. It was still a good classic sci-fi dilemma of time travel, and then really delving into, I need to kill this person to do this, or
I will say I tried to read several best of lists and look at what they thought was good about the 2 of them, and Steven sent me a couple podcasts to listen to. And they both do have a very personal story for the captain trying to work through something. So that major character development for your lead. They both have good science fiction concepts. They both have interesting guest cast. and they both deal with morality and issues that you can get really into. So, I mean, I'm not knocking The Cage at all. It deserves to be right up there.
Yeah, I don't think we're saying there's a chasm between one and two.
I think what edges out City for me is the Kirk-Spock,
the
relationship, and having McCoy in there as well.
Yeah.
It's those characters for me. Whereas Pike, we got 1 hour with him.
Yeah.
And he was great.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's a very good point.
I think that's fair.
That's okay. Most people would not put The Cage all the way this at the top. When you see the best of episode list, The Cage almost never makes it up.
And I wonder if some of them discount The Cage, because I
think a lot of people
do. I looked at, they still counted it in the list, but they didn't necessarily have it as high as we do. And that's curious to me. And I don't know if they're just like, well, we'll give it its due with the menagerie. But as we discussed, it's two different things. Yeah.
Kirk and it doesn't lack Spock, but it lacks Spock as we know him.
Yes. Yeah.
I can easily see kind of disqualifying that for that reason. It's more of it's literally like a pilot.
It doesn't have the characters that you love.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Even though it's great. Mm-hmm. And I would argue it is Star Trek. Some people say it's not Star Trek because it's too different. I would say it is definitely Star Trek.
Yeah.
So those were our best of and worst of, and we have put The City on the Edge of Forever as number 1, The Cage is number 2, and that's where we lock in. Sorry, Amanda. Even if you were here, you would have been overruled. We had enough push for it.
Yeah, I think with the rest of them, like the top 29, all 29.
Yeah.
I think if we sat down and a month from now, we could probably. Is that high?
Yeah.
And we might. It'd just be.
We'd shove Mary down. We'd shove.
Yeah.
Probably shove. Mud's Women up a little.
Yeah, it's that thing we talked about, I think,
or the Side Paradise
several times, but especially with Miri, like, I didn't expect to like this.
Yeah.
How is that high? But, or not that low.
I would like to say the middle episode, the one that falls equal number before and after.
Does that make it the median or the mean? I was never good with math.
The median.
It's the median.
So the median episode, the one that's...
It means the average.
Yeah. Most, if we're going to judge a season based on it, where the middle of it ranks, and we may want to at some point, is The Man Trap.
Huh.
Which is not a bad episode.
That seems about accurate. If I know it's not the average, but if we're going to say it's the middle ground.
And see, that one's one I'm kind of on in memory, but right above it's Core Maneuver and right below it's Galileo 7, which are both strong episodes.
Well, and I know going in, I didn't have good memories of The Man Trap, and then we watched it, and...
Yeah.
Well, the name already kind of...
It sounds like an Elvis movie from the same era.
Like Beach Blanket Big O or something.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a...
The Man Trap, it's got a cartoon beginning, and
Let's take a quick break before we begin talking about our men and women of the season and hear from Barbara Barnett on her thoughts for season 1 overall. Anything you want to say about the first season overall?
So I loved it. I loved it more as the season went on, and it was really interesting. And looking at it in kind of a retrospective, how much I loved the second half of the season. So I really adored the first third of the season, and I really adored the back third of the season. The middle of it had some weaker episodes, like it was trying to find, it came out of the box running, some really awesome stuff in the cage and all that. And then it kind of like hit the brakes as they were sort of trying to get their footing, and then really came back strong in the back end of it.
There were a few gems in the middle, like the Menagerie and Balance of Terror and Shore Leave and Conscience of the King. Those were all middle of the season.
Yep, they were, but not as consistently strong as the back end.
Makes sense.
My favorite and least favorite of the whole season.
Yep.
Oh God.
You can name more than one.
So City on the Edge of Forever. I insist that I love This Side of Paradise. I will not be dissuaded at all. Period. End of. And I really loved the Romulan episode. What was it?
Balance of Terror.
I don't have the list of episodes in front of me. Oh, I loved Balance of Terror. I thought that was great. Mm-hmm. I loved Mud's Women. Sorry. I really loved that episode. So funny. The Menagerie, Galileo 7. kind of like Charlie X, but that was sort of, like at the beginning of the season was the Man Trap. I didn't care for the Man Trap. Charlie X, Where No Man Has Gone Before. I mean, those were really good. Mud's Women were all good. So the Naked Time. Okay, so weak episodes. Return of the Archons, maybe. I didn't like that. I didn't like The Alternative Factor. There were so few that I didn't like. I wasn't crazy about Miri either, to be honest.
Oh, yeah. No.
So my least favorite, The Man Trap, which is too bad because it was the first episode. Miri and The Alternative Factor I'd probably put in my bottom 3.
Okay.
So let's look at our list of men and women of the season. The one that Steven hung on to the longest is Barros. I hung on to the longest Yellow Feathered Showgirl. Both of those we hung on to for the exact same episodes. Yeah. And I think we just went through a span of episodes there where there
wasn't
really good
anybody.
choices. Keith hung on to Tamula the longest. We did not end on those, but do you think Barros deserves to be your girl of the season?
I don't think I would pick her, but I'm
Okay.
trying to remember who else was.
Well, you had Vina, you had Elizabeth Denner, Magical Magda from Mud's Women,
Okay.
Andrea, Helen Noel. You went back to Vina with the Menagerie.
Oh, that's right.
Tamula, Edith Keeler, and Zara at the end.
I would probably, and this is nostalgia too, but Vina would probably be my.
The Vina, you liked Vina at the start of the episode.
Yeah. You could always go back to Susan Oliver anytime. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
down with Vina. Plus, she's in every episode in a way, almost. I think she's in the end credits in every episode.
Right.
That's the Orion slave girl.
Green.
Yeah. I had number 1 for a long time. Authentic Eve, Andrea, Mystery Yeoman, Yellow Feathered Showgirl, Tamula, and Zara. I'd say number 1. I'm going to the cage as well.
Yeah.
If I have to pick one, I think number 1 wins the season for me. And Keith, you had Personnel Officer Nancy Wong, Tamula, and Arella Kirk, a.k.a. Bellamy Young.
Oh, right. Yeah.
You did not start weighing in until 2/3 of the way through the season. Would you like to choose one of these as your person of the season, or would you like to go further back?
I have not done enough research to even remember, like, right off the top of my head, like, even what they look like at the moment. So, yeah. I'm going to go with the default of whatever seems to have...
Tamula?
Yeah, sure. Whatever's
That's a good
won out,
choice.
statistically.
I think we leave Nick. Nick only had one choice, sleeping Superwoman with Madonna boobs.
That's good.
We're going to leave him there.
Yeah, I gotta agree with Nick. I wanted to see more of her.
Ryan only had one choice, black-haired Superwoman Con paid special attention to, so we're going to leave that one there. Amanda's most chosen longest run is Samuel T. Cogley.
I think that's perfect.
But she might choose Pike. We'd have to put that.
Oh, that's true.
Because she had
That's
Pike
true.
for a long time.
We did, yes, true.
So she'd have to decide which of those two. We won't lock her in.
And Cogley didn't overtake Khan didn't overtake Cogley for her.
No, did not.
Although there's nothing avian about his name, I only picture him as a rooster for some reason.
Cogley?
Samuel T.
Yes.
Cogley.
Sounds like a rooster.
Absolutely.
I guess Foghorn Leghorn or something.
That's what I was going to
Probably,
say. Rooster T. Cogburn, something like that.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
Carl
Samuel.
only had Mears. Sam had 4 episodes she participated in. Boba was 2, so that's her most, but she didn't have Khan as her last, so I don't know. I don't think we can decide for Sam, but we've got our picks.
Did Colleen never make a selection?
She did not.
Can I pick the guy that was under the rug in the one episode that I saw?
Was under the rug?
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I
No.
don't. But
The alien that was definitely just a dude under a rug.
Yes.
Yes, that's my man. The one that was under the rug.
The
Fantastic.
guy you couldn't see?
Yeah, he did a great job. He was a very convincing Horta.
Pain.
That's pretty. To be fair, that's kind of the secret of our love life is that I'm always underneath
rug.
something. Yeah.
And if anybody has any doubt that Colleen's hung up on looks, so she hasn't even seen this guy, and it's like you've got mail. You fell in love with the guy before you even saw him.
This explains a lot about my success.
Yeah, it's just the emotional content. She likes fixer-uppers emotionally. It's like expressing pain.
Market
Hey.
communicators.
Yeah, that's
And who are trying to protect their eggs. I think.
And look like a pizza with
Very
a
good parents.
fried egg on it, whatever.
And Zoe picks Clint Howard Blaylock because that's the closest to her our height and age.
Oh my god.
Just kidding.
I just now, the image of that thing.
Oh. So, what overall things do we notice about season 1? Do we think we're going to rank it above or below seasons 2 and 3 before we even get started?
I've been trashing season 3 throughout this podcast, and I know we will not be disappointed in our disappointedness in season 3.
But do you think 1 or 2 is going to?
But season 2, I'm very curious. I think it'll be closer than I would have thought going in.
I think most people would name season 2 as better.
Yeah.
But looking at the best of this season, I think season 1 may end up being better than season 2.
I feel like right now it will be, and
but I do think it'll be close. I think season 2 will have a lot of strong contenders.
I think season 2 will kind of fall the bell curve, if you will fall very similar to season 1, where there's a
lot of
some
great
really good
ones
strong
and a
ones,
handful of bad ones.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, we know we've got Amok Time coming up, Trouble with Tribbles. Those are going to be towards the top.
Journey to Babel.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a good one.
I know there's some others, but yeah, and some very unique and different ones. Season 3 has some unique and different ones for other reasons. Again, but sorry, season 3, but.
I think we'll find a couple of gems in season 3.
We will, and I think, and the thing about season 3 we'll find will be kind of with This Side of Paradise, although that's a better episode than most of season 3 is.
Yeah.
They still were able to get those little moments in there, even with the all the things they were laboring under by then.
Cat's Paws in season 2. That's gonna suck. But we got Mir in season 2.
Oh yeah.
We've got iMud.
Is that goatee?
Mir, yes.
Yes.
Mir Universe.
Yeah.
We've got iMud, where Mud returns.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people like A Piece of the Action.
Not one of my favorites, but
I like Assignment Earth.
I do too. Is there Truth and Beauty? I think that's.
No, that is season 3.
Is that season 3? All right.
It is.
Well,
is there in Truth No Beauty? Yeah, I like that.
I'm looking forward to that one.
I like that one.
I'd argue there's beauty in truth, but you know.
Well,
It'll all be worked out once we watch it.
So yeah, we've got some coming up. There's a few less episodes in season 2.
Okay.
It's a little bit shorter. It's only 26 episodes, where we had actually 29 in this one.
Only 26. What's the point there?
Yeah. And I think the third season's only 23, I think. So
Yeah, it gets
24.
fewer episodes as we go on. But yeah, I'm ready to start season 2. I'm excited. Season 1 got me pumped. I like season 1. And even though I know we're going to get to some bad, we've got some good coming still.
Yeah, we got some really good stuff coming.
I think one of the most important things that came out of season 1 is the firming up that actually there is a before in the name of It's All Been Trekked before. Mm-hmm. I'd always thought it was just It's All Been Trekked, but then...
I don't remember.
I mean, it became that at some point during this, so that's what it is.
What's the logo say on the website?
I don't know.
That's a good question.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I started calling it IABTB, so...
It's All Been Trekked before is what we registered as.
God damn it.
I'd say what season 1 did well was we established the characters, we got familiar with the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, as it went on, it really zeroed in on Kirk, Spock, and McCoy.
Yeah.
I'm glad
Which we talked about a lot.
beefed up McCoy's role as it went
Sure.
on, but the fact that Uhura and Sulu had larger roles at the beginning and that were minimized. And Scotty still gets roles here and there, but...
And now that part of the pie gets even smaller because Chekhov's coming up and...
Right. And now
Episode
McCoy
one.
is full.
Yeah.
McCoy will be one of the main characters.
Yes, he's in the
Because
opening
technically,
credits.
all through season 1, only Kirk and Spock are in the opening credits.
Yeah.
Season 2 and 3, McCoy joins them in the opening credits, and to the best of my memory, McCoy actually gets bigger in season 2 and 3.
Yeah.
And with Chekhov helping steal the pie for the little ones, yeah, I think Uhura and Sulu got their best character development they ever got at the beginning of season 1, and we're long past it.
It's interesting how that works.
Until the
isn't it?
movies. They all have good character
Yes.
development in the movies.
Right.
Yeah.
That is, by the time I'd even really... I mean, other than when I was a little kid and I saw the opening coming on as my dad was watching this on our little color TV or whatever. I didn't really start processing what it was until the movies were out, essentially, and then by then
The movies there were 7 core characters, so that's what you think of. I mean, to Leonard Nimoy's credit, when they did the animated series, they originally just hired Shatner, Kelly, Nimoy, and then James Doohan, who was going to do all the male voices, and Michelle Barrett was going to do all the female voices. And Leonard Nimoy said, if you do not hire George Takei and Nichelle Nichols, I will not do the show.
For the cartoon.
For the cartoon. Because they were just going to have Michelle do Uhura and Doohan, and Scotty, Doohan do Sulu. And Michelle and Doohan did do most of the guest voices. and they added a couple new crew members, and they did those. But they did hire Nichelle Nichols and George Takei. They did not hire Walter Koenig to reprise his role as Chekhov.
How can you even do a Sulu impression if you're not like already in like the 2000s and hearing like, George Takei? Like
This is
that kind of
George.
I mean, Doohan was the master of accents, but yeah, I don't know. I'm glad they hired Nichelle and George, though.
Yeah.
But I think that's where you start to see where the core is the actors themselves saw those guys as core.
Yeah.
I mean, you listen to George and you listen to Nichelle talk about their time, they saw themselves as core.
Takei?
Mm-hmm. Takei.
Takei.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
I always say Takei.
I always said Takei, but
It's
yeah,
Takei.
it's Takei.
Yeah.
Just in case he ever listens,
yeah.
I want you to know I got it right.
George, I'm sorry, Mr. Takei, I'm very sorry. I am a big fan and I read your autobiography, Wagon Train to the Stars, but I still can't pronounce things. I apologize.
Did you watch him Heroes?
Yes.
Yes.
I used to leave voicemail messages for Richie and other people as George Takei, only because it rhymed with bye.
Yeah.
Because I would just call and say, "This is George Takei calling to say goodbye." And that was it.
That's how they knew it was fake, because you mispronounced his name.
They didn't know. They thought it was
Otherwise,
Takei too.
otherwise they would have been like, wait, why would he say that? Oh, he must be doing
calling
the
me.
thing.
I did. A friend of mine had me prank call this friend of his. Well, he brought me in, and we did 20 minutes of me trying to pretend to be George Takei. The guy didn't buy it at all, but
No.
it was fun for me and my friend. It works a lot better early in the morning after a usual night out. My voice gets really deep, like Keith did. Well, almost. Except I have to work at it.
You should hear mine in the morning.
I don't think my ears.
That's not
I
like
don't think my ears register that low.
That's not a come on line or anything. I'm just saying.
Hitting on him in front of his fiance. Come on. At least, wait, no, till you're alone. I think something that struck me about season 1 is Kirk was not the womanizer I always remembered him.
I agree. Yeah,
At least not in season 1.
He had his moments where he
He did.
put on that Kirk charm, but
But only a few episodes.
he's not that
Not most
involved.
episodes.
Yeah.
The ship had him in a short leash, apparently, at the time.
Yeah. But Spock got more solid. Spock was the Spock I thought Spock was, I think.
Yeah.
He had the layers, he had the logic. But he also,
Everybody
very
else is
early on,
selfies.
built the friendship. The other thing I think I noticed is at first they really started this as a solid drama, and as the season went on, they found ways to inject the comedy, which I think helped a lot.
Yeah, and it was kind of fun already knowing the characters, but to see more of see that development happen. Like I said, obviously I was obsessed with the original series and everything, but it was still I'd never watched them in order this close together, probably.
Yeah.
Whatever local station showed it once a week, I'm sure I did watch it at that time, but it's different to watch it when you're 12 or 13 than older.
Well, the secret to their comedy was they figured out all they did was put a little flute or bassoon at the end of it,
The music was pretty ridiculous in season 1, I'll give
The
it that.
stinger.
Yeah,
There's a lot more stinger in this season than I remember.
A lot of times they should have just
Hey, wait a minute, that was a
left it.
punchline, wasn't it?
Lest you didn't know. I know we joke about it a lot, but a lot of stuff that we take for granted now started here.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
Yes.
it may have found its roots in some way in some sci-fi before that too, obviously. But this, it came out in '66, but then when it hit big, I mean, that's when a lot of these seeds got planted in a lot of brains going forward and became not necessarily iconic, but things that seem familiar to people and easier for people to grasp. And
The way to process sci-fi, you mean?
Yes,
Or,
yeah.
Or not even just the racism and sexism aspect
Yeah,
of things.
exactly, yeah.
Either one, it's both, I guess.
yeah, I've seen this concept before, and then all right, so you don't even have to set a base, and you can just jump off from there. So, and again, obviously there were definitely sci-fi before Star Trek, but I think this gave it a bigger stamp, and definitely, again, 29 episodes here, but still that's a lot more than outside the Twilight Zone and maybe Outer Limits, which were almost had sci-fi elements, definitely some episodes, but a lot of it was either fantasy or horror or mystery or different kinds of things. But yeah.
I will say one disappointment for me, and this is going to hold true through the whole original series, and I know that of the time this is what they did, but you could grab any one of these episodes as your first Star Trek episode and understand who everybody was and how it was going. Like, there's no growth arc over the season. There's no continuity to keep track of.
Yes.
It's all standalone, self-contained.
Oh, yeah. Although, of course, it does help. I mean, I think there was some, certainly later in the season, we get better, as you said, better representations of the characters.
Yeah, but
there's no reference back to storyline-wise.
You don't need to know their history to get everything that's going on. And that's kind of disappointing to me.
Because all of that gets introduced within the episode. If there's any, Conscience of the King, the Kodos, was it Kodos, right? Kodos, the
Executioner.
The Executioner, yeah. So
yeah, that's where it came from, The Simpsons.
You didn't already know that from before. You did all that stuff in each episode. Yeah, that's a really good point.
Whereas the sequel series, all the spin-off series, do have things that go on. I mean, even Next Gen, which was slow to start doing that, did it. Yeah. And the movies do it. So the fact that this series stands like this, other than... Mud does come back, so I'm interested to see if there's continuity there. But for the most part, Mud is the only real sequel to any original series episode. The only returning character, the only follow-up.
Yeah.
I would say this is a sign of the times. I mean...
it is, but it doesn't make it less disappointing.
Well, of course. I mean, there's a different expectation as technology advanced for people to be able to actually see things in succession. But whatever, you get that, I'm sure. One of the things that disappoints me, and I think this... Star Trek may be to blame for a lot of things related to...
Sexual assault?
No, I'm going to say space battles.
Gotcha.
Even today, trying to get my head around how, ships are always on the same plane, same orientation, same vertical, It should be they should be all over the place. It should be impossible for them to line up, look at each other, and start shooting.
Did that.
And
so Star Trek Beyond sort of did that, the different off of a plane, but that was the first one that was even sort of like it.
I haven't seen it yet. Is the one that's on CBS?
No, the last movie in the theater.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay,
it doesn't do it hugely, but in the
I thought Wrath of Khan with the Kobayashi with the crowd, the nebula,
through the cloud,
the nebula,
sort of.
When it kind of comes up, but they still come up to be level. But I just like the idea of. There's a couple of cool shots there where they're at different levels. And
I will say, obviously we have a science fiction spoof in It's All Been Done Radio Hour, Universe Journey.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Check out Universe Journey, It's All Been Done Radio Hour. But I've also tried to write other sci-fi novels before, and anytime I want to do a science fiction futuristic, my mind immediately goes to, okay, there's a starship, and there's a crew, and there's a captain and a first officer, and I feel like that's ingrained because of Star Trek. It's hard to get completely outside of that and do something that doesn't use at least some of the framework that they established.
It just occurred to me that both Stephen and I were doing hand movements that you can't see because it's not a video, but the point is
it's not?
Yeah, unless you want to include it at some point, I guess.
I've hidden cameras all over my house.
But for the audience, the point is that the ships should not be just perfectly if you have your hands even with each other.
Yeah.
They should be all at crazy angles and coming from different directions, and maybe not even how many parsecs or whatever they which within each other, up or down.
But I think we can all agree that this season is superior to all of Star Wars, right?
I can't weigh in on
I just had to.
Although to be fair, in a lot of Star Wars, it's the same. That happens too. Actually, point made.
Anything else you want to cover?
I was trying to make a joke just then. I can't even think of if parsec is actually distant or.
I couldn't end the season without thinking Star Wars one last time.
I am very excited for season 2.
Me too.
Yeah.
Hey, it's gonna seem like we're gonna take 6 weeks off.
Oh yeah.
I swear, for us, it's gonna seem like we never took any time
That's
off
right.
at all.
It may be for you, but probably not.
No.
Maybe for somebody who's binge listening.
Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah,
After
we're
binge
taking
watching.
6 weeks off because we had a nice healthy backlog when we started. We don't have such a healthy backlog now, so we want to make sure you guys we don't have to take episodes off in the middle of the season. We're going to start backlogging season 2. So join us again in 6 weeks. It's all been tracked.
By then, Zoe will be doing the introductions.
We'll see you next season.
Come back.
Live long and prosper.
Or at least long enough to listen to.
That's a good tease for season 2, episode 1, actually.
Ah, that's true.
Yeah.
Spoilers.